Dummy Switch Pod. The boys are
Yes,
back.
sir.
How are you,
Mm-hmm.
Chris?
Oh, look, I'm feeling shocky. I'm feeling shocky this week. I'm glad. I'm happy, man. How's it going your side? Good as
Good myself, good myself. The Dan Carters of podcasting. Or should I say
yeah,
should I say that the Antoine Duponts of podcasting, seeing
yeah. No,
seeing as
no,
though that's the new talk about town, eh? It's the
mm-mm,
discussion currently going on.
no. I'd rather be the Libok of podcasting than the DuPont of podcasting. No, it's fine. It's okay.
I think I'm the same. I don't really have any solid arguments. I don't have any. Number one, I don't think he's a goat, but I don't have any solid either arguments either way. And I don't, to be honest, I don't really care. It's not something
Yeah,
that's high on my agenda.
it doesn't bother me. He's a good player, yes. Good, we don't know yet. But I look, we don't care, man. We don't care. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about something that we care about. This
Yeah.
one we are highly invested in because it's the Lions versus the Sharks. It's your team versus my team. Um,
Yeah.
Sharks won in this game, and to be honest, it was a total change from what we've seen from them in maybe the past two rounds, where there was
Yeah.
just no cohesion. You felt like the guys didn't have any energy, but they've
Mm.
injected the young guys in there, the guys from the baby box. They've injected them in there, and Cronier as well has Cronier had a masterclass. Cronier had an absolute masterclass. So I think it just
Yeah.
putting those things together, it turned the whole thing around.
Yeah. Look, I've been a critic of Premier. I've been wanting him gone because I've been wanting the future. We saw the Sharks, they gave us a glimpse into the future with some of the baby box that are
Yeah,
in there. There's other youngsters that also have made their debuts before, but they're still young. And that was the difference, it was a difference maker
yeah.
for the Sharks. I think, like you said, new energy. And the boogeyman was boogieing on
It was his
the
breakout
weekend.
game. It was his breakout
Yeah.
game. But to be honest with you, it will be remembered as his breakout game, the center combination of him and Bester. But it was
Mm.
him that announced himself. But to me, the more impressive showing for me was from the forwards, the young guys in the
Yeah.
forwards, where
Yeah.
um it's that Locke, Ndanda, Potkita, Hutton, those guys injected
Yes.
some energy there where they were outplaying more experienced guys.
Yeah, look, they were. And then it's exactly, I was thinking about it, because I was thinking, yeah, look, probably a lot of the talk will be, or backlash will be, yeah, but it's Currie Cup and whatnot. But when you look at the Lions guys, there's quite a handful of those guys that have had exposure to
Yeah,
URC, that have been having more consistent game time, so it was a quality Lions team, for me, I thought it just didn't click for them, on the day. But
yeah.
the Sharks, full credit to them, they capitalized on it, and that the youngsters, the fresh legs, the energy, like you mentioned, the Ndanda Shegani, I think he did well. Then you
Kekani,
also
yeah, he
there,
did very well. He's a strong player and a very strong hairline.
yeah.
He's
So I quite liked, and I agree with you. The pack. I think the pack is all again, like it is with rugby. Any game, if the pack lays the foundation, it gives everybody else the confidence, especially in the backs. And we
yeah,
started to see that. And also just in terms of general gameplay from the Sharks. And especially with the pack. I think that was a key difference, in how they were moving the ball around. They were very deadly there. But look, I'm glad for the win. Glad with the youngsters that are coming through. The
yeah,
potential and the potential future of the Sharks looks bright. And yeah, we saw the future. This is where we saw, another kind of future.
yeah.
And it looks good. And even I dare say, I'll go out and put my head on the block if a guy like Julius keeps on delivering, and cracks the URC squad, it'll be difficult for them not to look at him for in the midfield in the next in
It's a
2025.
steep. The thing is, it's a steep hill
Yeah,
to climb, especially for
it
him, because
is.
there's Esther Hazen there and there's Ethan Hooker there, and
Yeah.
can be thrown in that mix as a center that
Mm.
plays on both sides. So what's more than likely is going to happen is they're going to end up pushing him to wing. So
Yeah.
I'm
Hopefully not.
I think that's even better. They're going to end up pushing these guys to
Mm.
wing, and if they break through, they break through 1 or 2 seasons. It could be a positive result for the Lions where these guys don't get game time and come over like the Marius Lows and the Nohamba. So
Yeah.
I'm either way, I'm pleased with that. But I will
Yeah.
say they found a very nice balance between the young guys and the experienced guys,
Yeah.
where especially in this game, Cronje allowed them to play in the right areas of the field, and he
Mm.
allowed he put them. It's funny because your forwards are normally the ones putting you on a platform. He put them
Yeah.
on a platform for where they could succeed. You know, putting in
Yeah.
those little kicks in behind,
He
putting
drove.
in the pressure, the drop goals. Every time that they were in
Yeah.
the half, they'd get some nice rewards with the drop goal, the penalty.
Mm.
You know, he put some nice platform for them to showcase
He did.
themselves.
He did. He did. And credit to him. I think he steered the ship very, very well. And then equally at the same time, as much as he did that, you have to question a little bit the Lions' intensity. I wonder if look, I'm making excuses for them, but I wonder if the delayed start to the game did have a bit of a factor. Like I said, I'm making excuses for them,
Nah, they
because,
as a
but
Lion supporter,
yeah.
I'll come out and say like the energy from the previous rounds, they
Mm.
were an undefeated team. The
Yeah.
energy wasn't there. On top
Yeah.
of that, they were struggling for territory. They
Mm.
couldn't put phases together. You look at the Jurenzo Julius try came from a knock on from the Lions in their own, trying to run it and trying to put phases together, but they
Yeah.
can't put phases together. And then that try was obviously great to isolate the fly half to a
Yeah.
one-on-one. So that was a very good plan for them. But in terms of the Lions, they struggle for territory. If you're struggling
Mm.
for territory, like the URC side, they're fine to let you have the ball, let you have territory because they can counter. But the Lions team
Yeah.
couldn't counter. They couldn't put
They
phases
couldn't.
together, so they had nothing. And when they did bring on Leighton Horn, that's when they started to inject a bit
Yeah.
more. They broke the
Mm.
line. Once they broke the line, they got hands free to score a few tries, but it was too late by then. I think Horn
Yeah.
also, his kicking was better than Stain. So he brought like a new dynamic into the team, which I'm
Yeah.
watching very closely the scrum halves in this competition because it's Davids, it's Stain, even Horn in
Yes.
this one. There's Imad Khan,
Imad
there's
Khan.
there's guys all around where I think we should be watching that closely. But Lions, it's just you couldn't get territory, you can't counter, it's game over. Then you get
Mm.
a red card. It's there was just nothing.
Yeah, there's not, mind you, I think that red card even galvanized them actually,
Yeah.
because after that, all of a sudden, they had more intensity, and the execution was a bit better. And that's the thing, is you can't play rugby like that, where you're waiting until the last, 15 minutes before
Yeah.
you decide that, okay, you want to play, or waiting for adversity. Um, but
Yeah.
look, all around, good game of Currie Cup, good to watch, be there. Good to see the Sharks. Looking like they're starting to exercise some demons there at Ellis Park, because I think even
Yeah.
in URC recently they haven't had any success there. So just good. And yeah, there's a lot to like. And it's still early days, but
I'm
but
very pleased. I'm very pleased. Some of these guys will not break through, and they will come to the Lions. It's a reverse poaching situation of guys taking Lions players. I'm very happy with the way that they're developing our players,
yeah,
because eventually,
they're developing your future.
yes. Thank you, JP Peterson. Thank you.
Yeah.
You must give praise, because those guys, they're going to be very good Lions one day.
Yeah. Look, I hope not, because I just want to see some of these guys getting, to be
Yeah.
becoming mainstays, in the Sharks setup. And also, look, the Lions also have some good youngsters that are coming through. It's just this time around, it wasn't their day. But hopefully they can take some learnings from it.
Francis is one of them. He didn't have a great game, but
no.
He's one of them. I will say, though, I am quite jealous of some of the other guys. If I'm looking like at Western Province and that, looking at the Sharks, I am a bit jealous of some of the guys they have coming through there. But I think let's move on to that game, Bulls versus Western Province. This was
strange.
You know how they say a game of two halves, even though all games are two halves. It's like these were clones. They were reptilians. They were at halftime. It was someone else came out because those weren't the same teams from the first half.
No, it wasn't.
It was completely different. A fast start.
Yeah.
It was very up and down. But I mean, after that, Western Province just kept on taking chance after chance after chance, and it was from set piece. The funny thing is, both their props went off, and then their scrum got stronger, and they started dominating off of that scrum. They started off set piece, off line out. I think 3 of the 3 tries, they were all like straight from set piece or set piece to face. And Mattia was pulling the strings. Roche was also, he looks like he's going to be a player.
Quite liked him.
Yeah, very direct guy. JJ Kotze, I don't know why he's still at Western Province. He must just make his way down to the Lions. We have a problem at hooker. He's third, fourth. I haven't barely seen him play, but when he does play, he's so good.
Yeah. And you got I think Henry Stassen, good showing, Gary Porter as well. So they've also got some guys that are coming through. It was good to see Devon Fuller. I think a lot of the public have been keeping an eye on him since his junior days. But like for me, strange because of the way that the start that Western Province had. You thought, look, this is going to be one hell of a long afternoon for the Bulls. And maybe the hairdryer treatment was dished out at halftime in the Bulls changing room because they certainly came out more intensity and better execution and really just I think the intensity of their play when Kumete started even also now imposing himself even more, so and that Bulls pack started working because effectively it was all I think the Stormers pack really did quite well to sort of neutralize the Bulls in the beginning. And I think the main concern for, I call them Stormers, the Western Province, but I think the main thing for them, the concern for them is how they just fell away because they really, it looked bad the way that they fell away. And
the set piece completely in the second half, completely all of a sudden from the first scrum in the second half. I know they took off JJ Kotze. That was the only change in the beginning. And Skara came on, and then all of a sudden they're now losing all of the scrums. So I don't know what happened there. Their set piece completely fell away. The only thing that they were able to do was steal a few lineouts. But even when they did steal them, it was untidy, and then Bulls even scored from that. But like you said, it was almost like a change in game plan when they came back out because they were just running everything back at Western Province, and they were just making meters and meters and meters. Solo try by Gumete, the center partnership of Smith and Janchi, it gives them so much momentum, and creativity, especially off set piece. Janchi a few times off the line out, it was him that came through and was making meters. Smith, he's got clever feet. He knows how to break a line. He knows how to get the next guy through. So I think what that center partnership does for them is massive, and it's good to see Janti playing 13. He started the season playing there. The last time we really saw him play there was at UJ. At the Lions, they played him there like once, twice. So it doesn't really count. So the last time see him was at UJ. So it's nice to see him in the centers here.
Yeah, and he looks like he's growing strength to strength, with more game time and backing. You can see there's more confidence with ball in hand as well. He's He's got the little goose that's back now. They've got the offloads going. So yeah, you have to like, and be happy for him in terms of where he's at right now and where potentially he can take his game again. Just for him as a player. But yeah, like you mentioned, Gumete, I think big impact, from him. It was good to see Buta Chamberlain. I know it was good, but it was also a bit bittersweet in a way, but it's effectively what the Bulls are building. You can see it right through, what it's looking like for Currie Cup, because a lot of these guys, I think a lot of them are also going to get a look in going into URC, going into Champions Cup as well.
Yeah.
So the depth of the Bulls is just something that you have to take note of and realize that they've got good replacements that are coming on, even like, when you're looking at your third choice, because effectively some of these guys are really third and fourth choice, when you compare them to the URC guys, so that gap at the Bulls is much smaller than
Mapu
at
is a
other
Springbok and he
unions.
came on. He's
Yeah.
a Springbok and he's coming on off the bench. So they've
Yeah,
got that
Namaklava, when
depth.
he came on as well, he looked good. He looks a different beast there at the Bulls. So yeah, Bulls are looking dangerous. But again, it's at Loftus. But I think a lot of introspection will have to take place at Western Province. In terms of how they essentially imploded.
I
Yeah,
will say though,
it's
I will say that there was pivotal points in the game, especially towards the last 20, where it was like whoever scores next wins.
yeah,
So although they let the game slip, there was a point where it was a 2-point game,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
also fought with that David's try. They also fought and they
yes,
put their foot a bit on the Bulls' neck to say, like, they put that pressure, they put that territory, they got that try running it back. So they showed
mm,
fight. But the last 10, when it was that thing of whoever scores next, that's when
yeah,
they fell apart. And I think that's also when they started to bring in changes. That's also when Skara came on and there was now uncontested scrums, and it was the game got away from them at that point.
yeah,
But
and
I, I don't know,
and nobody really off
the
their
way I
bench.
feel. Yeah, the Kanamea is a club rugby player. He plays for SK Walmers, and they brought him
Yeah,
into the squad, which I like.
yeah,
I like to see club rugby players
it's
given the
good.
chance, but
Yeah.
their bench isn't the strongest. It's not the
Mm,
strongest, but I mean, even Marcus is there. Damian Marcus is not
mm,
that many minutes, and also how not really going to impact the game. So I
mm.
suppose, but I mean, for me, I guess discipline, they'll have to work on that,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
other things in the game I think are more positive than negative, even though they got
Eh,
50 points.
yeah. Look, there's definitely a lot of positives that they'll take out of it, I think, and especially again, we mentioned who's this, Imad Khan,
Ahmad Khan.
that they've got there, he's coming through. I like him as a player, the intensity, and seems like he's like a souped up Herschel Yankees in a way,
Yeah.
It gives me that sort of feeling,
But I feel
but
like he's holding back. I feel like he's holding back. There's
oh yeah,
another level
there's
of
another level.
creativity. I
Oh
feel,
yeah,
yeah, I've watched him the past 2 rounds, and this was the
yeah,
best game that he's had. But
yeah,
when you're just waiting for those
there's
moments,
more.
yeah, there's more.
Yeah, yeah. No, well, look, I think let's give him time, he's still a
Mm,
youngster, he's fresh in, so I think maybe we'll see more from him, but look, the Bulls are the Bulls at Loftus.
yeah,
I still, yes, as much as it's positive for Province, I think with the start that they had, they'll be utterly disappointed that they let that one slip, But
yeah,
still, like I said, even from the Sharks and the Lions game, it's still a long way to go before, we get sorted out in terms of top four. But
yeah,
yeah, credit to the Bulls though, because
yeah,
it became almost like are you a Bulls or not? Are you a
yeah,
Bulls
yeah,
player or not? And I think they showed through. And I think the coach is a new coach in that system. I think, yeah, good for him, Piwe Nomlomo to get that. And
yeah.
against John Dobson, who's been, having quite a lot of success
Mm.
against the Bulls, at Loftus. So, yeah, credit to them, definitely.
Yeah, definitely good for him. That's the way they came out and just ran the ball back. Yeah, credit to them, man. Let's go Pumas Griquas. This one was just run and
I,
gun. It was up and down. It was,
yeah,
you
too
know,
many mistakes as well in the beginning.
that that's the thing. There were four tries within the first 10 minutes. It
Mm,
was both sides couldn't keep hold of from a quality aspect, both sides couldn't keep hold of the ball and they couldn't put phases together, and it was just turnover, try, set piece,
yeah,
try, this try. It
yeah,
was after that it sort of settled, and then Pumas got like more of a hold on the game.
yeah.
But Pumas, I think they just it's just a more of a physical team, and the matchup just isn't good for the Griquas.
Yeah, but yes, I agree with you. But at the same time, it's disappointing how the Griquas, you would have thought that they had a bit more in them, like especially yes in the
Yeah.
beginning with when it was okay, it was mistake for mistake, and it was level at one point. But once the Pumas started to that intensity, I mean, these guys were breaking out from their own half.
Mm.
It was sometimes it looked a bit too easy for the Pumas, to
Yeah.
be honest. Like there was no non-existent defense for the Griquas, which is a concern, out for them, But again, Pumas in Bombela, the intensity of the attack, once they started to get that foothold and become more settled and comfortable, they looked very, very dangerous. Where guys, who's that? Is it Dimaza with that step? He just kept on
Yeah.
hitting them with the repeat step every kickoff.
Yeah, he
But
likes to run it back.
yeah, and it looked good. I think the wingers also looking for work, as well. And the more, Clinton Swart, I think he had a
Hey,
big game.
that guy, the experience, that guy is a real fighter.
Mm.
That guy looks like, you know, a brandy and coke is not safe around that guy. He looks like a real fighter, and he's an experienced guy. And I think the experience also showed.
Yeah, it did, and I was actually a bit disappointed with the Zulendaba and Kamlashe as well, because I think,
Mm.
from just marshalling the defense in the midfield, they didn't do too well. They weren't able to get up in their faces, and shut things down. That's why I say it looked a bit too easy for the Pumas at times, and yeah, a lot of I think back to the drawing board for the Griquas because it's not happening at the moment for them. From and I think it's more like there's no cohesion in a way. For them to be able to get that the dominance, get on top of teams, and
Yeah.
then now try and keep building because the Griquas they can punish. We saw that. It was like especially when it was attack versus attack, and it was just like okay, you go, I go,
Yeah.
and we saw that there's a lot of dangerous runners, dangerous backs, that we've got in in South African rugby, but it's just the Greeks is just it's difficult to see how they'll put it together, going
Yeah,
forward.
they can't. It's really a bad matchup. These two teams
Mm,
for them, like the Pumas just more physical, and and then the Griquas just couldn't put any phases together. They're under
yeah,
pressure. They're conceding penalties. It was just going nowhere at some points, which I don't know. Yeah, I think the forwards will have to have a good look at
they will.
themselves.
They will.
Dobela was
They
supposed
will.
to play. I saw him on the team sheet, but Robertson played. Hafka is I like him at fullback. Good
Yeah,
pivot.
good.
They had some sparks there. In the there's not again. It's like there's not really much to take away because it was a hammering in the end. But
Mm,
for me, I'm just trying to see like which of these guys in terms of URC are gonna get that
yeah,
phone call. Which of these? I think Kutsia from the Pumas. I think he'll get a call.
he might get a
I
call.
think
Yeah,
he's quite a physical player. He dominates.
mm,
I think he'll get a call. I know Griquas and Stormers have an agreement in terms of
yeah,
players back and forth. So I'm also trying to look in that Griquas team which guys could possibly
yeah.
go
But
back. But in this
it's
game, I
difficult
don't
to
think they'll
see.
take anyone.
Yeah, after this game, yeah, it's difficult to see. I think it's just a matter of the Greek was really. I think more it's also their identity. I think the Pumas are set on their identity. They know who they are, especially in the Currie Cup and how they want to play, and they know what depths they need to go to, and how far they can go to get a result with the way that they play. But Griquas, I think they're struggling a bit with that because of the maybe because of that player movement, and they're not as settled as well, So yeah, but also, I might add, in terms of the Pumas, I think maybe Jimmy Stonehouse is more hands-on as opposed to in the earlier rounds. I think we're starting to see that. I think he's got that fear factor, with the guys because just looks so intense, and you can see he doesn't take errors very well. You can see it irks him whenever these players make mistakes. So I think that's also one of the things, that play a part in it in terms of the Pumas' performance. But yeah, Griquas overall, look, it was not impressive at all. Nothing really to write home about there.
Yeah, I didn't manage to catch the other games. I don't know if you have any comments or any closing remarks, Chris.
No, but Griffons, Cheetahs. I just saw the highlights. At one stage, again, if the Cheetahs, you're wondering, how are they allowing this to happen? Because they're more experienced. Look, it's good for the Currie Cup, to have a teams like Griffons, Pumas, and Griquas really pushing the bigger brothers, almost as it were, pushing them to the brink. But I think just from a Cheetahs point of view, you have to ask yourself, how did they allow them to get so close? How did they? Yeah, I think that's just it was a way. It was the Bloemfontein derby, I believe. But geez, if you're Cheetahs, you think to yourself, what the hell?
I know it's tough there in Velkom. It's tough.
Yeah, I know it is. It is. It's seemingly so. But yeah, good for the Griffons. Good for the Currie Cup. Hopefully, they can also just maybe get a 1 or 2 upset results here and there. I think it'll be good for the competition. But all around, Currie Cup, this is the breeding ground of the future. So yeah, we love it. We love it here.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week to discuss some more Currie Cup, and also the squad's going to be announced. So
it's a big one next week.
Yeah, the buzz will start picking up. Things will start to shake again.
Yeah. Look, it's a big one next week. But look, another weekend Currie Cup, Cheetahs Bulls. That should be a very interesting game in Free State. I think that's Friday. Then Saturday you got Pumas Sharks. In Bombela is going to be. I think that's going to be another hot game. Then Province Griffons. Hey, I wonder. Maybe the Griffons will feel confident. But it's away, so I don't see a result there for the Griffons. And then Sunday, Griquas Lions in Kimberley. It's going to be a very tough one for your boys.
Yeah,
but I think they can do it. I think they can do it, So yeah, a lot of Currie Cup. We looking forward.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for listening.
We out.